esperem, não pulem. Eu vou ter uma novidade braba pra vocês que reclamam tanto dos ads nas lives. Agora a gente tá em parceria com a Kik, que é uma plataforma de live também, e eu vou estar fazendo as minhas lives lá todos os dias. E o melhor, sem anúncio nenhum pra vocês curtirem. Então eu vou deixar o link aqui embaixo na descrição. Segue lá e fortalece o vovô. Ai, 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 lá vem quiz. Lá vem quiz. Aqui. Coloco vocês lá, se pá. Ali é o chat dele, eu vou deixar vocês aqui, se pá.
I actually want to do is also go over Pain vs VKS, because I know BTS is live right now, right? Like I know BTS is live right now, but I feel like people actually have no idea what happened in the grand finals. Like literally no idea. Like literally no idea. So I feel like it's really good content for me to go over the grand final games. What do you guys think? Because I feel like a lot of people are talking shit, but they don't really understand like what's happening, you know, at all. Guys, this series was really interesting for me because like, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna go over the Pain vs VKS series. Very disappointing series for me. We went three points to Pain and 1 point to VKS, and the series ended up only going to 4 games. And I know a lot of people were really curious about the series, and I think I saw a lot of like misinformation, especially around like why picks are good, what picks work, what picks don't work. And the truth is for me, like Pain played a
Pior que eu entendo inglês, só que sei lá, eu sou muito vagabundo, mano.
really bad series.
Prestar atenção, né? Eu não sou fluente, mas daí essa legenda
That's my
deixa
honest,
uma delícia.
that's my honest truth, guys. I thought I would still go over it because I think it's something that everyone wants to watch, you know. For me, Pain played really bad. If they're playing a good game,
Calma.
I think we should have got 3-0'd because we were playing very terribly. And for me, Pain is a team with a lot of inherent flaws in their game that is really exploitable if you know what to do, if you know what to exploit, and if you know what to look for, right? So let's have a look at the draft first, because I know this is like the biggest thing, right? People are saying, "Oh my god, like this Smolder, we gave Smolder 3 games in a row."
Nós não.
The way Pain operates is Pain is a team that don't really know how...
certeza que o time da Cade não queria... Eu não vi o behind, tá ligado? Mas certeza que alguém queria banir. Não é possível, mano. Esses 5 atletas aqui não é possível, mano. Os caras viam esses Smolder e deixavam. Não é possível, mano.
I think that...
É muito roubado, cara.
Most people that actually know high-level League of Legends agree with me when I say that Pain is not a team that plays 3 lanes really well. And it's been something that's been known in Cblol for many years. So the way they operate is they need to play through mid-pro and they need to play 2 lanes quite often. So when they are the best is normally when they have 3 options available, right? Three kind of conditions. One is mid priority, early game mid priority to enable their early game, because Pain is a team that really want to snowball from early mid game because their mid late game macro is actually quite horrendous. And they don't really play side. And 2, they're a team that wants 2 engage tools. So oftentimes what they want to be looking for is they want to be looking for like Ashe or Jhin, like engage support with engage jungle, or engage support, engage AD carry with a carry jungler, right? So for example, if Pain has, for example, like Misfortune Nautilus with a Lilia, they don't perform so well. This is a team that doesn't perform so well with one source of engage. So they always...
Pior que eu assisti os 4 jogos, mano. Tá ligado? E pra mim a PEN jogou bem, viado. Na moral, mano.
Try to get 2 sources
principalmente mecanicamente nas
engage
fights,
and to enable carryoka. The best solution that Pain has found was to play an engage AD carry so that they can play AP junglers. Does that make sense? I didn't need to rewatch the game, but I did rewatch the game a lot of times, but I just came to the same conclusion really. So like, Smolder is a really bad pick for this team because Smolder is a champion that scales, that has no tools, it doesn't get mid priority, and it loses a lot of lanes. It's just a scaling pick. Now, that's point 1, but point 2 is also that Smolder's a champion when played really well is very fucking OP, guys. For example, when Chovy played Smolder, I think this pick was like absurdly OP. He had like 200 stacks at 19 minutes. But when Pain played Smolder, this pick was the worst fucking piece of shit I've ever seen.
Isso,
like, I know Dinquieto very clearly likes the champion, but he played it really badly. That's just the honest truth, and I can show inside the game. He had like 110...
Cara, mas tipo assim, mano, o quiz ele tá sequelado, eu acho, viado, não? Porque, tipo assim, ele tá pensando como se o Brasil fosse LCK, cara. Tipo, foda-se que o Dinquedo tem 100 stack em 25 mil, viado. A porra da Cade não é... Não consegue fechar a merda do jogo, mano. Então, pode durar... Sei lá, viado. Vai durar 40 mil o jogo, ele vai ter 225 stack e ele vai ganhar o jogo porque ele tá de Smolder. Ele não precisa ser o melhor Smolder do mundo. Ele não precisa ser o Tiovo, viado. Só dele ter Smolder nessa região de merda, contra o time da Cade que não consegue fechar jogo, já é roubado, mano. Ele tá achando que ele tá na LCK, viado. É por isso que ele tá fazendo essas merda, mano. Deixando essa porra, tá ligado? Like ele não tem o Showmaker e o Dinquedo não é o Tiovo, mano. Não.
26 minutes, guys. The guy was like completely boosted on the champ.
Se for comparar o Dinquedo com o Tiovo, não tem como, tá ligado? Não tem como.
But people don't really see this kind of stuff, right?
Tô louco, mano.
So, how does Pain win games? They have two sorts of engages. They're very, very good at playing team fights because they have really good individual skill. Like individual skills. They know their opportunities and they know what to do individually, right? They have really good individual play, so they know how to play team fights well. And I think it's shined throughout the series. And they really thrive off mid priority. So, based off this information,
ele não leva, tipo assim, a fraqueza da região em conta, tá ligado? Quando ele faz as análises, mano. Ele faz, claro, tipo assim, talvez porque ele é um coach gringo, mano. Mas ele não leva em conta, tá ligado? Que, tipo, tudo... O que funciona aqui não necessariamente vai funcionar lá fora e vice-versa, mano.
Kind of need to draft around Pain.
Porque o nível é...
For me, the way that you draft around Pain is very simple. One, you try not to give them Ashe. And if you give Ashe, you don't give them... Like, you try not to give them Jhin. If they take Jhin, you take a bot lane with push. So that's the third kind of condition. Pain is a team that functions a lot better with bot push. Because Curry doesn't play around mid very well. Curry doesn't really know how to play around mid. So he's a support player that really needs priority on bot lane to get vision and river and to allow Carriok to play the game. So, to be honest, when I saw Smolder in the game, I thought that the draft was already over.
Caralho.
And if you actually break down the draft, Pain Gaming is playing Sejuani vs Lilia, so it's like losing jungle matchup, outfarmed, with no mid priority, so Lilia can scale for free, right? So we're already really, really happy. We have mid push, we have like free scaling jungle, and Lilia is probably the best jungle in the patch, in this patch, in 14-15. And then we have counter pick AD carry, right? And Ezreal is not an OP pick. Ezreal is just like, Titan is like Solon and Ezreal, but it's not a champion that's OP. It's an okay blind if you can play it with Leona or Braum. So you're essentially playing Ezreal blind with no mid push, a tempo jungler that is going to have no mid push to invade, and you're going to get counterpicked AD carry and counterpicked support because we're red side.
Yeah.
So we end up taking the Jhin, and why do we end up taking the Jhin? Because Jhin is really, really OP with AP junglers. So what we're saying is,
foda,
okay.
Viado. É foda porque, tipo assim, ele é muito analítico, mas daí chega no jogo, o Chesca acerta 3Q na bunda do Smile, o Smile tem que dar B. E aí o counter AD já foi pro saco já, pô.
We can counterpick Ezreal with a champion like Kalista. We can even opt to pick a champion like Misfortune and get Prio. But, because...
O jogo é jogado, viado, no fim do dia, mano.
We
que se
can
foda
get
se,
Prio with
tá ligado? A minha
support
é
counterpick
boa,
anyway.
É.
We can secure support counterpick with more setup on bot side, which allow our AP jungle to play very aggressively. So yeah, Lilia in this patch was like the most highly contested jungle across every region, right? It's a higher tier than Brand. It is the highest contested AD jungle, and the only kind of answers into Lilia were Vi, but you get outscaled at 2 items because Lilia gets Zhonya's. So they often picked like Vi compositions, Vi Rumble, etc. Or they picked Viego, which is a jungler that like wins 1v1 versus Lilia, can find Lilia early. Or, and here's the third option, Maokai. And Maokai was almost always banned, right? So when you look at the game, Lilia for him, they had three answers, and the 3 answers were not so good, right? You had so they have no push bot, no push mid, counter pick jungle. And what ends up happening in 4-5? Well, we end up taking the Leona blind. Now, this is not a call that I opted for. This is something that Prods wanted. For me, it doesn't really make sense here, but I can understand as a takeaway, right? So what was Prods thinking here? Well, for me, it's very obvious. Prods didn't want to play against Curry's Braum or Curry's Alistar, right? Because Kuri's best champions are Alistar, Braum, and then Rel, right? So by taking Alistar and Braum away, he wants to take away the best pairing left with Leona. So Prod is actually not drafting for comp here, he's drafting for individual. And that's okay, because if you want confidence going into the series, it's completely fine to do that, right? And we have more tools than one. We have Jin for setup, so that's kind of the idea behind the Leona. Lilia for sure is a very good pick in 14-15, guys. Lilia for sure is like the highest contested jungler in this patch. You can just see off like the presence. So 42% presence, but when you look at top leagues, you're looking at 50 to 60%. And the reason it's super highly contested is because you're assuming that Maokai is going to be banned. And Sejuani is not so good into Lilia. So, like, Lilia counters Sejuani, right? So, in regions where people can play Nidalee, right? Lilia prior goes down. But if Nidalee is not very good in the region, so for example, like, Nidalee is terrible in Brazil. Everyone agree? There's maybe two junglers that can play Nidalee, and that's Carioca and Decimus. And we were sure that Carioca wouldn't play Nidalee in the series. So when Maokai is out in the game, Lilia becomes naturally the highest priority jungler inside the game because Nidalee is not really a champion, right? So Maokai is permabanned. So now you have to play Brand or Sejuani. Why is Brand or Sejuani not so good into Lilia? Well, Lilia wins 1v1 versus Brand. He has a really easy time playing team fights, and you just farm faster, so you outscale, right? And Sejuani just straight up loses the whole game. So for sure, like, Lilia is a very, very highly contested pick, especially in a region that doesn't play Nidalee. And of course, both junglers really, really like playing the champion, right? So when you pair the Nidalee, when you pair the Lilia with a champion like Nautilus or Jhin, the champion becomes very, very strong to play. Ivan is not so good into Lilia too. Ivan is really bad into Lilia and Brand, because you lose 1v1 and you just get kited, and basically you get out damaged and outscaled. So Ivan is a champion that's really strong level 1 to 4, and then in early mid game you spike really hard because you get shielding items, and shielding items are really cheap, right? But once again, like, Nidalee Renekton is not a thing this series, guys. People are not playing Nidalee Renekton. So if you look at Pain Game 1 draft, it's really fucking terrible. Because they're taking losing bot matchup.
Eu entendo o que o Chris tá falando, mano. Ele tá resumidamente o que ele tá falando tá certo, tá ligado? É um draft arriscado da PEN. Mas isso no nível das equipes, tipo, é nível even, eu diria, tá ligado? Só que a PEN é muito maior que a Cade, mano.
Push, losing jungle, losing mid prior.
Não sei o que ele deveria fazer, talvez, tá ligado?
Right? And then they opt to blind Jax.
Ele foi incapaz, mano, de aproveitar dessas mini vantagens que ele tá falando de matchup. Ele foi incapaz de aproveitar.
Into Lilia, which is really good into Jax. Into Corki, that can play very well into Jax. Jhin, one of the best AD carries into Jax. And then I think into Leona it's okay, but into Cassante it's very, very annoying to play. Because the lane is kind of hard to play and you can't make progress inside and you have so much disruption. Like Cassante W and Cassante ulti is like really annoying for Jax, especially in teamfights. So we outrange, we have better jungle, faster clear, we just have a much better composition here. And what else do you notice about Pain Gaming Draft? Smolder is what, guys? Smolder is AD, right? Ezreal is AD.
Tá full AD, mano.
What? Ezreal is AD.
Comp da PEN.
Giga, Jax is AD. They're full AD, right? So they're playing full AD composition into Leona Cassante with no mid prio, counter pick jungle, and no push bot. Right? So for me, this draft is actually kind of unlosable. And no offense to Sarkis and no offense to Coelho, but I was both their dads in this series. No offense.
Okay.
I can talk about the red series after.
Okay.
Yeah, I lost. No offense. No offense to Coelho, but I was both their dads in this series. No offense. I can talk about the red.
Ele é pai dos caras, é isso que ele falou?
Yeah, but I was both their dads in this series. No offense. I can talk about the red series after. Yeah, I lost. We played fucking.
Mano. Cara, sinceramente, viado, esse draft tá jogado, mano. O da Cade tá singelamente melhor, mas eu vejo pingando facilmente, mano.
So,
porque, tipo assim, eles têm Full AD? Tem, mas não é tanto um problema porque Smolder estaca e dá dano pra caralho. Então foda-se que é caçante, tá ligado? Anyway. Eles têm uma compzinha sólida com eles, você consegue ficar solo bot contra Jin e Leona e o Curi consegue rodar o mapa, que foi o que ele fez. Eles têm skill, sei lá, nas 3 lanes. O early game deles aqui é fraco, mano. Só que eles sabiam que a Cade não é punir early game o suficiente. Ainda deu merda level 1, se eu não me engano, esse jogo, mano.
It just comes down to, okay, we can't give Pain Maokai. We can't give Pain Rumble. Rumble's the best.
Essa comp aqui é forte, mano. Depois de uns 20 min de jogo, mano. Tá ligado? A Cade tem que ter uma vantagem considerável, mano. Contra isso aqui, tá ligado?
Top lane in the patch by far.
Só que aí tem player gap.
And Ashe gives bot prior
Mas não é uma
to
comp
Pain,
ruim, não. Só é uma
which
comp
is
arriscada, tá ligado?
one of the ways they want to play. It gives an engage
Contra um
option to
time
Pain.
bom,
So
né?
it's
Tipo, contra uma PSG, se eles fazem com essa comp aqui, eles vão tomar 15, 20 min, pô, de jogo. Provavelmente.
probably one of the best champions for Pain. Right? So, you either have to give Ezreal or Ashe. Right? And by that logic, you're telling me, okay, so I have to ban Lilia, Corki, Ezreal, Smolder, Rumble, Maokai, and Ashe. And Jhin. You can't ban every champion. You have to make a choice. Right? And in this game, by the way, Corki and Cassante is much better inside, or should be. Because this Jack should always be behind. He should always be outranged. And Corki wins side versus Smolder until 3 items. So we need to kind of snowball the game early, but we should. And they want to scale until like 40 minutes into the game. That's essentially the game plan. And you need to think about like the team that we're playing against, right? So Pain is a team that really wants to play early games, early mid games, because they're not a team that plays side lane very well in general. They're not a team that plays side lane very well. They're not a team that plays 3 lanes very well. If I was playing versus, for example, Loud, we would need to change the draft completely. So, for example, okay, let's go to Titan. People say, oh my god, like, guys, you can't draft just on the champion, right? So, I have to ban Ashe by your logic. I have to ban Jhin by your logic. And I have to ban Ezreal, and I have to ban Maokai, and I have to ban Rumble.
Tem que banir, mano.
Right? You could leave Maokai, Ashe,
Mano, ele
and
tá
Rumble
dando uma
open.
farpada no time dele indiretamente, né? Tipo assim, ele tá, viado, tem que banir tudo que a porra do meu time não consegue jogar.
No, but they can
contra
always
esse cara,
choose, right? They can always just ban one.
O time é uma bomba.
So, I mean, like,
essa,
you can't leave Maokai, Ashe, and Rumble
tá
open.
tirando
Because
dele
they'll
da
just first
reta.
pick Rumble.
O left tá bom, é isso, só que eu também...
And then it's just fucking bad. Like, Sejuani's open, right? So, say I ban Sejuani. They can either take Maokai Cannon into Rumble, and they have the best jungle for their team composition, or they can take Rumble with Maokai, and we have to play Sejuani into it. Like, Maokai is a much better champion for them, right? So, guys, like, let's just say in this game we won, you guys would say that I'm a draft genius, right? And if you actually look at the contents of the game, what happened?
O que ele tá falando tá certo.
Enemy team
A PEN só é melhor mesmo. Foda-se, ele pode fazer o draft que ele quiser.
has Ezreal,
Não
one
tem
of the
como a PEN perder essa série um pouquinho.
strongest patches, one of the strongest
Pode
champs
até
in the
inverter o
game
draft, eu acho, mano. A PEN
in
ganha.
level 1 to 3.
Ele não tá errado.
Right?
Não sei se é uma atitude legal
No,
de
but
se
both
fazer, tá
sides have
ligado?
great picks. It just
Porque
comes
são os
down to
atletas do
execution,
time dele,
guys.
mano.
Let's actually look at the game. Let's actually look at the way the game played out, right? So VKS, for some reason, decides to late invade blue side with Ezreal. So we're outranged and we lose level 1. Right? Bro,
Ele não tá falando
for
direto
people
com
that
essas
say that
palavras,
Ezreal has magic
mas dá a
damage,
entender
you're
isso, e ele tá certo.
really
Só
kind of
tem
trolling, you
melhor,
know?
tem que fazer.
Like, the only magic damage you have is WE. I mean, yeah, it's basically WE. Like, 80% of his damage, because you can't count his ultimate as magic damage, right? 85 to 90% of Ezreal's damage is AD, bro. Right? So if you kind of...
Quer ver, Tacas? Diz que. Brota aí. Vai derreter, viado. Entra aí. Se deixa no banheiro rapidão.
Alô?
Calma aí, eu vou no banheiro.
Ah, vai lá, vai lá. Salve, guys. Pô, eu vi só uns 5 minutos desse vídeo do quiz aí, mano. É uma hipnosinha de leve, viu, chat? Uma hipnosinha de leve, mano. De leve. De leve. Se preparem. Eu não vi tudo, mas eu vi que tem uma dosezinha de hipnose. Ah, o vovô vai no banheiro, eu vou pegar uma água lá então, guys. Pera aí, rapidão. Vem daí. Ai, voltei. Vovô não voltou ainda? Foi terceirizado? Ao vivo? É. Ele tá no sofá. Pô, pior que eu vi um storyzinho dele bem tranks, deitadinho no sofá, enquanto o Zuxo, Tocão e Bulanches faziam live pra ele. É bem do vagabundo.
Cheguei.
Fala, vovô, compartilha a tela aí. Ia ficar mais fácil.
Você já viu isso aqui? Não, né?
Eu vi 5.000. Parei mais ou menos nessa parte que você tava aí.
Derreteu?
Pô, tem um pinguinho de hipnose. Eu senti.
Round out the stats.
Pinguinho de hipnose.
I mean, they're definitely full AD. Jax is like 95% magic physical damage, guys. It's not like this, guys, okay? So
O time tá full AD contra caçante com o Smolder, não é? Foda-se, mano.
Então, mas é isso que eu tava falando, que eu concordo também. Falei na minha live lá, eu não acho que era injogável, não. Tipo assim, acho que o que ele
Foda-se.
falou, pô, legal. Realmente, Lilia contra a Seju, a Lilia farma mais. O Jhin contra o Exército, se não tiver nada, o Jhin vai pegar aquele push. O Cork ganha do Smolder. Pô, beleza. Não acho que tava injogável pra Pain, não, tá ligado?
Eu também não. Eu achei bem sólida essa comp da PEN.
Smolderzinho. Era difícil de engajar na comp da Pain também, com os dois carry ali. Tá ligado? Acho
Só
que
o
não era
early
impossível,
deles,
não.
tipo assim, eles têm muito scale, tá ligado?
É, sim,
Só
sim,
que
sim. Com certeza.
o Smolder dá dano real, não dá, mano? Ele dá dano
Dá,
real, ele
depois que
pode
ele
buildar
stacka full, sim.
Liandre, tipo assim, tá
Aham.
muito. Tá Tranks, velho.
I mean, realistically speaking, one, if you count on with execution playing in Cblol, bro, you'll never win. Okay, bro, how do you win Cblol then? How did Loud win 4 times in a row? This is the problem, right?
Ele tá puto, né, mano?
Ele tá,
Like, a
ele
lot
tá,
of people
ele
are
tá sentindo.
talking
Sabe o que foi
without
que me
thinking
falaram no
what
meu
they're saying.
chat, a fofoca? Foi que ele tava no chat do Formigão. Ó, presta atenção.
É
Foi que ele
deep?
tava no chat do Formigão e, pô, estava escaralhando ele. E ele ficou bolado.
Tava
Foi o
cozinhando
que
ele?
falaram. Foi a fofoca. Foi a fofoca que passaram no meu chat.
Cara, ele
E o
pegou
chat do
pilha
Formigão
nisso?
entrou na cabeça. É, foi o que me falaram no meu chat. Eu não sei se é verídico.
E ele foi fazer o review daí?
Aí não sei se ele ficou, tipo, sentido e depois foi pra live dele. Mas a fofoca que me passaram foi essa.
Saying, why not Malphite? Because Malphite is not a Jax counter. You still lose side. And they have a lot of mobility. They have Rakan, they have Ezreal. Like, the reason Loud won Pain for many years is because Loud played
Pô,
a split
pior
push style.
que. Ô, Tecas, mas a compzinha,
Yeah.
a compzinha da PEN, se parar pra pensar, tá clean. Exatamente por isso que ele falou. Porque, tipo, ó, pensa, mano. A Cade não tem um engage, tipo assim, clean, não?
É
Tipo, é Lilia
difícil, é
Leona.
Leona, Lilia, aham.
Sim,
É, pô,
só
é
que
Zed Clean, é Smolder.
é EZ, Rakan, Smolder tem escape, Seju e Jax, mano.
Aham.
Se a PEN sair na frente, isso aqui é muito difícil de jogar, velho. É difícil sair na frente, porque é muito mid-late, mas. Mid-late
Sim,
game.
ele
É
just
difícil
played-
jogar isso aqui, mano.
Split and they played hard to
difícil, é
Robert,
difícil.
and Wiser fell behind in the game. And Wiser can play 3
Mas é
champions.
que você vai ver daqui a pouquinho, velho, o que ele falar. E ele
The
aí
whole reason
perdeu um pouco pra mim, eu achei.
Loud beat Pain so many times in a row is because of execution. Right? So we late invade and we end up having to leave. This late invade can be good too. If prods, if everyone walks in with Decimus together here, and we just flash on one target and fight, it can work. But is it a good play? No, it's not that Pain chokes against Loud. It's just Loud stylistically is much better against Pain. Because Pain do not know how to play side lane. So the reason Loud was beating Pain is because Loud could always play side lane, and in early mid game they could neutralize. So it was very, very hard in terms of execution for Pain to ever beat Loud, because Pain have a very flawed game plan. Right? So we level 1 invade, we get mega chunked, and now Lilia is really late to clear, and Sejuani has a tempo lead. Right? So already the game is really bad. And then
Agora,
we have
ele
the grub
skipou,
fight,
ó.
right?
Ó,
Que isso?
aí ele skipou. Aí, tipo
So-
assim, ele não comentou do invade, que o Jax pegou o push lá, matou a Lilia, tá
Aham,
ligado?
que foi
Que a
muito
PEN já tinha o
importante
primeiro
isso.
Drake. É, que a PEN já tinha o primeiro Drake, ele ter uma comp de scaling. Tipo assim, beleza. Ele não comentou disso, mas aí eu já fiquei meio assim, tá, continua, vou continuar assistindo.
This grub fight, Curry ints the engage. We one-shot Curry, but we get chunked. So now what you have to think about is, okay, Curry's dead, but he's up in 12 seconds. It's early game. Smolder, Ezreal,
Pausa aí, Gogo.
Sejuani, and Jax.
Por exemplo, se agora é o Jero fazendo esse review, ele não ia falar, tipo assim, justamente, não, era só o Curi não ter tentado, era só ter feito isso e aquilo. Tipo, tá ligado? Meio que. Você entendeu o que eu quero dizer?
Mais ou menos.
Tipo assim, beleza, mano, o Kurinto foi isso que aconteceu. Aí ele vai falar agora, não, o Kurinto era pra gente ter feito isso e aquilo, mas se tu volta, tipo, 20 segundos atrás e você coloca a mesma situação de novo e fala, ah, não, ó, mas já que a situação era essa, a Paige devia fazer isso e aquilo.
Aham,
Tipo, eu fiquei meio com esse feeling, assim, tipo, tava tudo no mundo perfeito, entendeu?
aham,
Nesse review dele. Tipo,
aham.
aonde claramente esse boneco ia fazer isso, aquele ia fazer aquilo. Mas o jogo foi, sabe, tipo,
Ele tá analisando como se, tipo assim, os caras não errassem, não acertassem, tá
todas as
ligado?
decisões seriam perfeitas, tá
Sim, sim,
ligado?
eu
Tipo,
entendo.
que só o time dele ia tomar, tipo, decisão muito boa. Mas não é assim,
É,
entendeu?
mas foi o que eu falei no draft, que tipo assim, ele falou, ah, a gente tem counter no AD, a gente tem push bot, não sei o que. Eu falei, é, beleza. Ele fala isso, aí chega no jogo, tu acerta 3 4 kills smiles, mas tem que base. E aí, vai fazer o quê?
É bem isso mesmo. Tipo assim, do outro lado, os caras podem forçar seu erro também, tá ligado?
E foi o que aconteceu,
All
mano.
have flashes, and we have bad condition. So here,
Oh,
the best
Calma,
option
calma,
here is to
Bules,
just
calma.
drop.
tá aqui
So
na
what really
análise?
happened
Tamo
here? So
analítico.
Tá,
one,
tá.
we're already really
Tô
far
vendo, tô
behind
vendo.
in tempo in a game where we should have a lead because of our level 1 plan, right? And we should leave the grubs because like Leona
Só
entered,
que,
but they have all,
mas
right?
ele cortar foi muito ruim, né, mano?
Already really
Ele
far
tinha
behind.
que mostrar, viado,
Ah,
porque impactou muito aquele invade, mano. Eles mataram
sim, sim.
o Carioca tava 6 no Drake, o Desames não tava, se eu não me engano. Na Larva também.
In tempo in a game where we should have a lead because of our level 1 plan, right? And we should leave the grubs because like Leona entered, but they have all tools. But what's really important is, okay, it starts from here. Cassante plays 1v3 top, undiveable. He sucks one turn, we get mid priority, and then we get control on river. Beautiful, right? Beleza, beleza.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Now, Gigo, with half HP, half mana, wants to base TP. Right? I didn't ban Smolder because it's terrible for them. So now, Cassante wants to base TP, and we have river control, so we just need to not give an engage. But we give Kuri the engage, which ends up being good for us because Kuri's inting. But because of Jack's TP, Cassante feels obligated to TP instantly. Whereas here, we should just give the confidence to Cassante to just press B and TP
Aí,
later,
tá
because we
vendo?
can just kill Kuri and get out. Right?
Tá
Or
muito
react
simples
TP
esse
if
LoL,
Jack's
não,
overextended.
Vovô?
Ah, mas é porque
Right?
vendo de fora é essa simpleza toda
É,
dele
exato.
mesmo, tá
Só que
ligado?
ali na
É,
hora
pô,
tem coração a mil, tem 20 mil
tem.
bateco, tem 10 mil torcedor gritando, tem
Não.
nervosismo. Tipo assim, eu entendo que ele, como coach, ele tem que fazer isso mesmo, entendeu? Tipo,
Aham.
falar pros jogadores, ó, tem que ser assim, tem que seguir esse passo a passo. Pô, mano,
Tem, cara, mas eu acho que eu sinto que ele espera demais, viado. Da região e dos players dele, não?
pode ser um pouco,
Porque que nem
pode
ele
ser.
fala, ele
Ele
vira
não
e
esteja
fala.
errado, ele
Ele,
está errado nisso, um
ele,
pouco, né?
ele-
Conceitualmente.
eu acho que tá um pouco errado, porque ele vira e fala: Smolder é uma bosta da PEN, porque a PEN joga A, B, C e o Dinquedo não estaca muito. Só que não importa se o time dele não consegue finalizar o jogo, não? Você acredita?
Também, existe esse ponto.
Porque se o Dinquedo estacar mal, foda-se, com 40 mil ele vai ser um Smolder, viado. E mesmo mal estacado, ele vai ganhar as fights, porque o branco é roubado. Tá ligado?
So now the problem is, Cassante TPs with half HP, half mana. We're chunked. He doesn't get to base and reset. And Jax, Sejuani, Smolder, and Ezreal all have flashes. So they can kind of play on limits. And what we need to do is we need to choose. We need to choose to either drop because they have all spells and all flashes and death timer is very low, right? Or we need to choose to engage instantly on one side, right? We need to instantly Leona flash Q or Leona flash E, Jin W, and try kill one guy.
Nossa,
Right?
isso aqui eu lembro.
With the numbers that we have. So dropping is better for sure, but we need to choose. This TP was not necessary as well. So what ends up happening is Jin ultis to start the fight, but as we can see by body language, I think Pro Delta is scared of Scuttle Crab a little bit. We're really slow to engage, and we're really slow to make a decision. Right? So now Ezreal is just playing on limits. And now they're playing to buy time for the Rakan.
Mas é difícil, mano. Foi o que eu falei também. Eu não acho que eles têm engage suficiente pra jogar contra essa comp aí, não, mano.
É difícil.
Ainda mais agora, a Leona tá sem ult. Tudo que eles têm é, sei lá, um flash E que o produto, se eu não me engano, erra aqui e morre.
But
E os
they know they
têm
have all
range,
tools
tá
to
ligado?
play.
Eles estão
enchem o
sendo lixados.
This is
Eles
where
estão
like
sendo
Pain
lixados
Gaming was
agora.
much better than us. Right? We used all our tools and they still have their tools. And their champions outrange us when we don't have tools. If we have Jin ulti or Leona ulti, we have a lot of tools and we outrange them. But when we don't have these things, they outrange us. So now it comes down to they want to kind of play on limits and wait until Rakan. So what we need to do is explode on them, or we need to drop. right? But we don't, right? We end up playing the fight. We get sucked in one turn. Pro Delta's taking random damage. We're very, very slow to make this decision. Pro Delta's the one calling here. And then we end up getting sandwiched, right? This should never happen. So this is just really bad execution. There's nothing around it. It's just really bad gameplay. And it's just very clear in this game that the players are very nervous, right? So people are saying draft gap, but realistically for me, this draft is like 7-3.
Ele não tá meio
Especially
sentido?
Hã?
Parece que tá meio sentido, não tava? Nesse
Tá.
rolê?
Tá.
Considering pain, it might be 8-2.
Não, mas aqui, tipo assim, é verdade. Mano, aqui o que eles têm que fazer é o problema dar um flash E aqui, o Exames dar um flash, rodar e botar alguém pra dormir, mano. Ele tem ult de Exames,
Fuck this
cara.
life.
Tá sequelando aqui, mano. Sério mesmo, velho.
The one call. Get sucked in
Pô,
one
velho,
turn.
olha isso
Pro
aqui.
Delta's
Olha ali, o Carioca em cima,
Taking random
o
damage.
Dinqueda ali, ó. Ele tem que fazer algo,
We're very,
mano.
very slow to make.
Porque, tipo assim, se eles não fizerem nada, quanto mais tempo passar sem a Cade fazer nada, eles são fodidos, mano. Que vai ser o que
Coreia
acontecer,
vai
tá ligado?
voltar, o Qzinho 2Z vai
Tipo assim,
entrar.
o Pro Delta precisa dar um flash E e o Exames precisa dar um flash ult em alguém nessa porra.
Mas
Precisa.
agora o que eu falei,
Pro Delta's
nessa hora, você não acha
then-
que a PEN também, tipo, não tá... A PEN também joga, viado. É isso que eu tô querendo dizer, pô.
Não,
Tipo
joga,
assim-
mas aqui tá azedo já, eu acho, tá ligado? Porque eles estão muito tempo sem fazer nada. Olha o que os caras fizeram, viado.
Do you know?
Eles estão andando pra cima e pra baixo há
Scared of
muito
Scuttle
tempo.
Crab a
mano.
little bit. We're really slow to
Oh.
engage, and we're really slow to make a decision. Right? But they know they have all
Oh.
tools to play. This is,
Cadê?
and they still, you know, they word on the fight.
Ó, o Exames tá gastando cooldown na larva, sendo que eles têm que
Dakyo
estar
one turn,
querendo virar lutar
Delta
aqui. Não, ó o Carioca
taking
na
random
cara.
damage. We're very,
Eu
very
acho que dá
slow
pra tentar, tá ligado? Eu não sei se eles ganham, mas
Dá
eles
pra
teriam mais
tentar,
chance
mas
do
aí
que...
é...
to make this.
Não, seria lutado, entendeu? Seria tipo... Seria
Decision.
50-50. Mas
A Pro
não
Delta's the
fazia
one
nada,
calling,
fudeu, mano.
And then we end up
sim.
getting sandwiched, right? This should never happen. So this is just really bad.
Foi o que ele falou, tá ligado? Os caras encebando pra fazer algo e aí matou a play.
VKS.
Porque o Rakan tá voltando já e os caras têm mais
We
range.
do a level 1 big mistake, and then we end up all dying on Grubs, right? Which makes all of enemy teams super accelerated. And even after, the game stalls. So
Oi,
why does
Super
the game
Negão.
stall? Two reasons. One, their comp is all AD. So even with Smolder, this fucking fed, their comp is all AD, and they just don't do enough magic damage.
Eu discordo. Você não discorda disso, Taker?
And we
Eu
are-
discordo quente disso, mano. Sério mesmo.
De que tá morno, assim, você tá falando?
Não, ele falou que, tipo assim, olha o que ele falou.
Their
É
comp is
full
all
AD
AD, and they
e
just
eles não dão dano mágico suficiente. Cara, a porra do Smolder dá true damage, cara.
Não, dano dá,
Foda-se.
dano
don't do
tem,
enough
dano
magic
Dá true
damage
damage,
to
cara.
win. And we outscale. It's
É
a
tipo assim, o
Johnny
Viego
versus
tava jogando muito
Right?
realmente
Focus
porque
skills.
a combi dele tinha mais AD, o Viego itemizou legal, tá ligado? O Viego tava sendo um problemão. O Viego era um problemão, mas não era injogável.
Olha o que ele falou,
to
viado.
win. And we outscale. It's
Cara, Cade, não dá outscale na PEN esse jogo, mano. Não dá, mano.
Eu acho que é
vejo.
jogado. É
Eu
jogado.
acho que dá outscale, velho. Tá louco, eu prefiro muito mais ter Jack, Sejuani e Smolder do que ter Cork, Lily e Caçante. Muito mais.
Mas também não é
Olha,
ruim o
você-
skin da VK, tá
Não é-
ligado? Isso que ele tá falando.
Não é ruim, mas
de
a
boa.
da PEN é melhor.
Aham.
right? Corky scales very well.
Smolder,
To him. He has
esse
3
daqui é
items.
bullshit.
We're spiking right now. Jin scales very hard. Pain is inting because this is their problem. Pain don't know how to close games. Pain don't know how to play 3 lanes. Pain don't know how to split push.
A PEN não sabe
Right?
nada.
So,
pegaram?
the game is
Meu
even in a
Deus.
game state where we have
Faz
all
sentido isso aí?
tools and enemy is all AD. So we've won
Tem que ser
every
bonito.
fight for the last 10 minutes.
Deus,
So
o que essa
the
PEN
game is
sabe
easy.
fazer, mano?
in a game state where we have all tools and enemy is all AD. So we've won every fight for the last 10 minutes. So the game is even. Enemy is all AD. The game is like in our hands. The game is in our hands. And what do we end up doing? My Jin with no flash. We have full vision on Jax. We have full vision on Jax, guys. We're calling Jax.
Cara, por que pensa, ó, Teikas? Tá ouvindo?
Tô.
Por que pensa? Eu acho que o jeito da Cade lutar aqui tem que ser em objetivo, você não acha? O problema é que a PEN
Sim.
tem 3 Drake, mano. Se não tiver rolando nada, é muito difícil a Cade achar o engage, velho. Porque foi o que eu falei, são 5 bonecos que tem mobilidade e eles têm.
Sim, o Smolder tem QSS também.
Sim, é Leona e
o Arger
Lilia.
tem Zônia.
Vai ser algo forçado, eles têm que startar algo e esperar os caras virem. Só que os caras têm range também, tá ligado? É difícil jogar isso aqui, cara. Sério mesmo. É
Shift
difícil, mano.
Like, listen to decode the stars.
Sendo a
Here,
Cade,
we're calling
mid-late
Jax.
game,
We're in a
mano.
full position. Smiley with no flash, no cleanse. And Corky with 0 proximity on Corky. Steps up. And face tanks, and my tanks are in Africa, right? So we lost this game from like individual mistakes. We straight up lost the game from individual mistakes. It was Smiley, and then it was like a dismiss early game, like late invade, and then it was Predelta on the grab call, right? So if you look at draft and the way that we play the map, I think we played the map better, but we made bad decisions when it comes to team fighting. We entered on the Grubs, we entered on level 1, and we entered on mid-wave. That's literally why we lost the game. Right? So we can listen to decode this thing after, but for me, this draft is just very, very good for VKS. Pain have no mid prior. Pain have losing jungle matchup with no mid prior and getting outscaled. Bad top matchup. Push on bot.
Caio mandou 5
With
reais.
counterpick support.
Coas foca tá espalhando fake news sobre
Caraca, tem
Smolder
tudo?
estacando do Diniquedo. Jogo 1,
Não tem nada?
213 stacks aos 26 minutos. Jogo 2,
Não, mas-
264 stacks aos 26 minutos.
É que ele tá falando,
Jogo 3,
ele tá exaltando as coisas da
literalmente
comp da Cade, né? Mas ele não
225
exaltou nada das comp
stacks
da
aos
Cade.
226
Exato,
minutos.
exato.
O da Cade
Esse é meu
escala
ponto.
também, tem uma boa
Esse é
luta,
meu
tem
ponto.
mobilidade.
110 stacks
E se você
aos
for
20.
frisar a
Inside,
tela e
Jets.
falar, não, mas nessa hora era só a gente ter feito isso e aquilo, vai ter também a outra perspectiva do outro time. Esse é meu ponto, entendeu? Vai ter outra perspectiva do outro time.
Range and win side. Because this Jack should never be in a good state in the game. And Lilia is also very good into Jacks. So we just execute really bad, we play really bad, and then we go into the second game. So here is the choice. We take away Ezreal and we take away Ashe. And if they blind Jhin, we can just play Misfortune into it, but we have the Maokai, so it's very easy to play fights. We get the most OP jungler in the game. We get Maokai, and they respond with Ivan. Maokai is an Ivan counter. Right? In both games, they lose jungle priority and they blind Smolder. So what do we get? Once again, we know we can play a lot of things into this Smolder. We practiced Draven. We had Draven mid ready. We had
Loucura.
Azir, which is a
Nossa.
Smolder counter. And we have champs like Corky. So we're always going to get mid push. We have counter pick jungle. They banned Rumble, okay? Look at the fucking game. So we have the best jungle in the game, counter pick jungle, we have mid push, and we have the best AD left in the game because Ezreal and Ashe is gone. And we get the best blind on blue side. Renekton, right? Well, at least in this game. We can drop to 4-5. I think dropping to 4-5 is maybe slightly better. But against Pain Gaming, Wiser historically performs very bad against Renekton. So I think if Pain played a good game in this series, we should have got 3-0 GA. I think we choked really hard. So then we take the Jins, and then we ban 280 carries, right? We ban Kai'Sa and we ban Misfortune, which is the best for their composition, and they have for Xayah. So what does this mean? Once again, they have like Olaf vs Renekton is actually like not good for the Olaf side, bro. Like it's fine in the matchup, but both sides are 50-50 and Renekton gets a push early game. So now we have mid push, best AD. It's the freest matchup in bot lane. We have best blind top, and Wiser is on Olaf. The three best champions for Wiser are Cassante, Gnar, and Rumble. So he's off all of his comfort, and they have jungle counter, right? No, we are worse than Pain. Let's be real. In this series, Pain completely outplayed us. They were the better team today. In this day, Pain was the much better team. But I think it's egregious and facetious to say that Pain was like
Loucura.
so much better.
Pô,
Like,
a Pen é so much better, velho, com essa
the last game,
Eu falo essa porra, mano. So
They
much
had a full
better.
AD draft, worst draft, and the game went to 31 minutes, and it came down, or 35 minutes, or 31 minutes, and the game
Ele só
literally
pulou o
came down
jogo
to
2?
Smiley
Ah, não, né?
Não,
dying
Ele tá
with no
recapitulando.
flash against an all AD comp and 2 tanks, right? So this is a really close game. I think everyone agrees. We're only 1k gold down against a full AD comp, and a comp where we should be ahead because we make really silly mistakes early game and they still can't close. And in second game, we have we have range. We spike hard at 2 items. We have the best jungle. I think this is the draft where people can argue that Pain maybe won the draft, in my opinion. If there's a draft where Pain can
Nossa,
argue
de
that they
tudo
won the
nele,
draft, this is the draft. Why? Because
Ele
Ivan
tomou
is very
splitadinho
strong
numa
level
fight
1 to
esse
4.
Victor aí, né? Foi
And
aquela
in this
fight
game,
muito ruim da
Ivan and
galera.
Olaf together is very difficult to deal with at 3+ items. At 3 to 4 core, the game is very, very hard for our team, right? Nautilus is going to get melted, right? So, once again, for me, support pick was a problem. It came down to comfort.
Caralho.
Prodota was very confident on
Já é a
Nautilus.
segunda vez já.
We self-picked our support, but it's fine. What happens in the game? Well, in my opinion, we have a slightly worse draft than Pain.
Esse jogo tava melhor pra Cade,
1,
pelo
2,
que eu me
3
lembro.
was
Tipo assim,
okay.
bem
Our third
melhor.
pick
Até a
could be
fase
better.
que o Alex explica.
Right? And I think that Pain had the better draft in game 2. I think we had the much better draft in game 1. I think Pain has a slightly better draft in game 2. But we play better in game 1, right? We play better in game 2. So what ends up happening in game 2 is we kind of go even, and then we make 2 really good plays on the map. One is we take T2 bot with the so-called Herald bug, which was allowed in LCK, LPL, Cblol. We asked Riot, and they used it themselves on scrims. But apparently it's a bug, which Riot said we can use, by the way. And Jin in both games performed really well, right? Like Jin in this game performed really well. He was top damage. He was 329 with 3 core, 1v90 in this game. In this game, he was really fed too, right? So what happened this game? The game was somewhat even, but we used Herald really well on bot side, and we ended up trading top really fast. So from this position, the game is unlosable, even though I think Pain has a slightly better draft.
Unlosable.
Right? I think still, Victor gets Prior into the Smolder. We get Prior. We can challenge Prior bot. We can contest Prior top. We have the best jungle. But I think that 3 to 4 items, Olaf is much better. So I think Pain is favored in this draft, but we're 3k gold up with position, and we're spiked, right? So something that Pain does is they never know how to play through side properly in objectives. They don't play through side fast if they don't have mid prior. They always play mid into side, which is really troll. So now we know they're doing the Pain gaming, which is like they play through here really late. They're very late to set up. And we have full position and full vision. So it's very hard for them to enter. So what do we need to do here? All we need to do is Lelico needs to sit on left side, and we need to play to peel. Right? Now, the reason we need to play to peel is because Pain is playing a composition that can play in 2 turns really well. Right? What I mean by 2 turns. Olaf can suck 1 turn of engage with his ultimate and run at us. And Rel can follow up engage, and Daisy and Ivan can follow up shield. So what you need to do is you need to play on range with Victor, who is outranging and stronger than the Smolder right now. The Smolder is actually not very strong. I know he's 30 CS up, but he has very little stacks, guys. The Smolder, if you click on Smolder at one point, you'll know what I mean. The Smolder is very, very weak at this point. He has 2.5 core. He's a full core behind Lelik, because his items are more expensive. So what ends up happening here? Well, we hold this bush, and Smiley calls to play 1 more bot wave.
Cortes mandou R$1,50. Quer dizer que é 6.000 pra ir para Osasco ouvir cara que pensa que a gente tem que jogar igual os Coreia?
Because there's no objective bot. There's no tower, there's no objective, there's nothing to play for. Right? So all we need to do is play here and hold formation. Victor just needs to press E, Jin needs to press W on Victor E, Nautilus just needs to hold his spells, and we just play on poke with Maka E, understand? And then it's very, very hard for the red side to play. So we do have a ward in this bush, and we already know that they're playing toward the banana. So Lelico plays for bot wave, because Smiley calls for bot wave. We lose our formation here. We break our formation. So what it should be is Titan and Pain Gaming should have a very hard time taking this pixel brush and entering into Dragon. But we make the mistake and we break our formation. Beleza. Tudo bem. All we need to do is understand Lelico lost flash here. Okay? So now we know that Pain Gaming have proximity. So what do we need to do? We need to drop and we need to replay here. No, the flash didn't lose the fight. Predalta lost the fight. We need to play here. We need to play as a group as 5 here. And just play as a ball and let them come into us. Because Nautilus will hold ulti and ulti the backline. So the follow-up on Olaf will be very slow. We'll suck 1 turn and then we'll play 1 turn again after, right? But the problem is... No, the problem was that Lelico went for bot wave, guys. Okay? Pay attention to the class. Pay attention to the class. So Lelico should not play here to begin with. We should not play for this bot wave. We should play here already. We should be playing to hit Drake and poke them as they come in. So now, Lelico is out of position. And here, what we should be thinking is, Okay, because
Não,
Lelico's
Alexa
out
não
of
vai pra
position
cima,
and they're
só
playing
vai agora,
with
mano.
proximity as
Eu
4,
fico com medo da Real flechar nele agora.
Lelico can't hit. Because they can play as a block as 4 and Lelico's 1v4
Nossa, mas
because he's
pegar esse
isolated,
flash
right?
aí também é Disney.
But what Prodelta does is he engages 1v4. He engages on the Olaf, right? And the reason he engages on the Olaf is he thought Olaf had no ultimate. So if you listen to
Ele pensou que o Olaf gastou de quando?
what's it called? We can actually watch it and you'll kind of understand what I mean. So you can actually listen to both situations. So this is game 2.
But
So here,
we don't engage here.
so Giga says we don't engage here. He knows exactly what's happening. And Lelico got called to hit bot wave. So this is Smiley inting.
Start rig.
So here, what's the correct call? The correct call here is Lelico to say, guys, I'm out of position. I can't hit. And then they reposition. But they don't. That's point 1. But point 2 is...
They should Olaf knows. I can't.
So Prot
No.
there's Olaf no ult and engages on the Olaf with ult.
Pegado,
But
hein?
Giga just said don't
Prodelta
fight.
mandou R$1
And
e
Lelico's
50
out of
centavos.
Pegado.
Coachene bane o Dragal e eu fico tomando. Loucura.
position, right? So what ends up happening is Olaf has ult, Giga doesn't want to fight, Decimus doesn't want to fight, Smiley doesn't want to fight.
O Leleco tá
Olaf
fudido
starts
ali,
running
mano.
at the Nautilus and they full engage and Lelico can't hit. Look, our strongest member can't play.
Ele não tem W?
Ele jogou ali no meio.
So if Smolder can't play,
Só que o
and
Olaf já
Victor
rasgou lá.
can't play because Smolder and Victor are matching, then it's much better for Pain, right? Because Pain is playing 4v4 and this Olaf has ulti with Ivan, right? So this group of 4 is not playing with Lelico. So here, there's a lot of issues. 1, as a team, they should understand how to play this team fight. But 2, Prods engages. And 3, Lelico, there's actually 3 issues. Lelico doesn't say anything. Lelico should say, guys, I can't hit.
O Leleco não tá falando nada,
This
viu?
game, I think Pain had a slightly better draft, but we ended up getting ahead in the game, and we were in a position to win, but we misexecuted.
Brunão
So now we're
de
0-2.
Victor
But
é
both
atento.
games, if you look at the context,
Será mesmo?
right? It's 26 minutes in. Vivo Cade is a strong,
Cara,
dominant.
se a Luz não tivesse tanto ego e jogasse só de Oriana Nock, ele estaria numa semifinal.
winning position,
Pô,
right? And in the first game, they had a better
será,
draft
pô?
in a strong,
Que
dominating
isso?
winning
Você
position.
acha que eles sairiam de
And both
décimo
games
pra
were
uma
very, very
semifinal?
close. Within one phase of the league, this is
Caralho,
right?
esse Nokia Oriana tá muito
So
forte, hein,
realistically,
velho.
eles jogaram,
this is a
velho.
situation.
Não, pior que eles jogaram e foi uma merda, tu não lembra? O cara fez zonas e eles
Não
pararam
lembro,
de
não
combar,
lembro.
mano. O Varus fez zona, nunca mais usaram, nunca mais
Ah,
combaram.
não, é
It
sim,
could have
sim,
been
sim,
a
sim,
3-0
sim,
day.
sim. Sei, eu lembro.
It could have been a 3-0
Os
day
caras não
where
conseguiram
VKS
jogar
just
de
3-0
Oriana
is a pain
Nock,
game.
mano.
But we lose both games. Beleza, tudo bem. Vamos demais, right? So now,
Pô, esse jogo 4 eu
Esse
achei o
jogo
Viego uma bomba.
mas-
Se ele for defender o Viego, eu vou ficar bolado.
because we're down 2 games,
Tu
and
gostou
they have the
daquele Viego?
momentum,
Era fusquele com o
we need to
Viego,
do
não?
something to change the momentum.
Era
This is very
Ziridinho com o
obvious.
Viego.
É, mó magro.
Eu
So
achei
this is
falha.
a situation where we just say we need to pick Callista to just take the fucking momentum away from them, right? And to be honest, Titan thought we don't know he plays Ziggs. We knew that Ziggs was a possibility, but my team was convinced that he would be very bad at it. Right? But what's delusional? I mean, both games we're losing to micro and small mistakes. So Ziggs is actually a really good champion into Callista.
Jogou mal de Ziggs? O
Ziggs is
Chesca
a
não,
really
né?
good champion into
Jogou,
Callista.
jogou. Eles
We
tomaram no
thought he
bot,
could
aí ele
play, but
abriu o
he
reto
wouldn't bat it,
top,
and he wouldn't pick it.
botou um art pro Gigo, foi no mid, você não lembra?
So
Foi
this
tenebroso.
Callista pick was very
Foi
obvious.
meio paia, foi meio
This
paia,
Callista
pelo
pick
que
was
eu
very
tenho de
obvious.
memória.
Both sides knew that they would answer the Callista and we would play Callista. So yeah, I did fart. So it just comes down to
O Ori dele foi meio
yeah,
paia.
I just farted. It just comes down to the fucking play, right? It comes down to the play, which is we have bot prio, we have counter pick support, we have mid contests, we scale in the game, we have jungle contest, we have jungle counter, and we have top counter. So we have Nara into Cassante, top counter, we have Vi into Sejuani, which is jungle counter. We have Azir into Smolder, which is mid counter. We have Kalista into Ziggs, which is Ziggs favored, but we have support counter. Alistar into Rel, so bot matchup is actually not easy for them. So they have 3 losing lanes and losing jungle matchup, right? So if you look at the game, we're up 3.5k gold, 5-0. If this is a scrim game, this game finishes in 25 minutes. This game finishes at 25 minutes. But we choke, right? We choke. So the game drags all the way out to Elder Dragon. And why does it go all the way out to Elder Dragon? Well, let's look at some of the situations. We have 3 dragons up. We take the Nash. And, I mean, look at the way we play
Nossa,
here.
joguei o
So
Edição, me jogou
we
bem,
know
agora que eu tô
enemy
lembrando.
Smolder. I think he was here or the fight
Tava de
before?
ponta a ponta.
There was a fight before in Drake 3. It was Drake 3. We know we have Kalista, Alistar, and Vi, guys. So what is the kind of theme of our composition? The theme of our composition is to engage. Guys, all 4 drafts are bad for fucking pain in terms of team fighting. And I'll go over that in a second. Right?
Ele deu draft gap, então?
Tamo junto.
Sério, Otex?
So,
Nos 4 jogos na opinião dele, né? Não sei, não. No
So
1 e no
here
4.
we have winning jungle, winning AD, winning mid.
No 1 e no
winning
4.
bot,
Ali no
winning jungle,
4,
winning mid,
eu
and
achei
winning top
loucura de
matchup.
falar que foi draft gap
Yeah.
no 4.
And we have a full engage comp into a range comp. Ziggs and Smolder want to poke, and we want to hard engage. Hard engage counters poke. So how do we want to fight? We want to just fucking go in. We want to fucking go in and fuck them. Right? Sopa desapato, vale pelo sub. Gratícia, obrigado pelo sub. Obrigado, Deus. Tamo junto. Tamo junto, viu? So, what should we do? Okay, guys, let's look at the situation. We're playing into Drake 3. The game is a complete stomp. Smolder, no flash, guys. So if Smolder is no
Cara,
flash,
a verdade é que o Chris tem que reconhecer, viado. Reconhecer que, mano, os players da Cade são pior, viado, que os da PEN. Tentar pegar um scale ali, rezar pra Deus e fé, mano. A verdade é essa, mano.
we should engage, right? But they shouldn't disrespect us. The games were really close, you know?
Jogar jogado, mano.
We should engage, right? So we take river, we herald mid, and the call here should be to hard engage into enemy team. But you know what
Mas
we're
eles tinham
calling
que
here?
jogar com essa Kalista antes, eu acho, botar fé, viado. Que o
Já
Smiley
tá com a cabeça
jogou.
logo de cara.
É, porque eu acho que na semifinal ele jogou bem, se eu não me engano. Não?
Jogou. Foi o único
Ele
jogo que
joga
eles ganharam,
bem.
foi todo de
Eu
Kalista.
acho que ele é melhor de Kalista do que Didi, viado.
We're calling to flip the
Claro
dragon.
mesmo. Aí deixa essa porra pra
We can
contar
just
2-0.
Press alt and kill them, but we're playing to flip the dragon. So we are for sure choking here. We are fucking choking. We're up 3k gold and we're fucking choking on a fat cock. So here, we're hitting the fucking dragon. Why do we give this line bush? Why do we give this banana bush? Just fucking Q ult, Smiley ult, and they're fucking all dead. They're all dead.
É assim
They have no flash Smolder and a fucking Ziggs. How they
Eu
win
acho
fight?
que é, nesse ponto do jogo, acho que
We
é
have
mesmo.
Mega
Acho que
Knight,
é.
impossible. We have Azir ulti, Azir
Tá
flash,
certo, mano. Esse time
Vi
é
ulti,
safado,
Kalista
mano.
ulti.
Esse jogo, cara.
Can lose. Can lose. But Prots here and the team is calling to flip the dragon. So what do? We flip the dragon. And then what happens? We get 3-man engaged, Ziggs ulted and die. But if we
No.
engage first, they fucking die. They fucking die. But what should happen? Here they're already dead. In my screen they're dead. In my screen they're dead. Fucking Kalista dashes forward, Giga dashes forward, Prodelta WQs, Kalista ultis, Vi ultis. They're fucking dead. This Smolder is dead on my screen. This Smolder has no flash. But we flip the dragon. So the game becomes messy because we're choking. And we call to flip the dragon 3 times. And we lose all 3 flips. So here, to be honest, it's a mega draft gap. We end up
Os
still
caras têm
securing this
Kalista,
win.
flip e perde, pô.
But realistically, let's have a look at the game, okay? We have full engage into poke. So thematically we win here, right? Thematically we're
Tudo
winning.
dá errado, velho. Precisa o quê?
This is game
Aí,
2.
agora eu quero ver. Agora eu quero ver. Jogo 4.
We have
Voltou pro jogo 2.
Range plus peel into range. We're playing range versus range. They're not playing engage. They're playing Xayah, which is to disengage, and Smolder, which is to poke, right? So when you play disengage compositions, poke compositions, counter disengage
Você não
compositions.
sente não, que eu falei, que ele fez essas análises, tá tirando dele da reta e meio que jogando meio que sutilmente nos players, não?
Um pouco.
Mano, meus players safados,
Em outras
viado.
palavras,
O draft tá
é um pouco
bom,
isso.
deveria ter sido
Assim, a gente
assim,
tem essa range.
só
Mas,
que
assim, por
expressão
exemplo,
ruim.
a opinião dele do jogo 1, eu não concordo muito com aquele mega gap. O jogo 2 eu concordo, o jogo 3 aí também eu acho que era jogado, mas melhor pra eles. Agora o jogo 4 parece que ele defendeu. Aí acho que eu vou
And
fazer que nem no
engage
jogo 1 e vou
compositions are
discordar
countered
dele.
by things like Xayah, right?
Porque o jogo
We
4 eu
wanna
achei,
engage this game?
zoado.
No. We want to play with Jin and Victor poke and Maokai poke, right? So thematically, they lose team fights here. They lose game 3 team fights, and let's look at game 1.
Pô, não curti que ele virou e falou
What do we
também que
have,
o Prods
guys?
escolheu os dois piques, viado. Ele podia só
We have
não
engage
falar
with-
isso, não.
Expôs, né? Expôs um
não
But
pouco,
we
precisa
have
né?
counter engage
isso,
with
cara.
Lilia. So all 3 games, actually, thematically,
Anônimo
really, really
mandou
fucking bad for pain.
R$1,50.
really, really fucking
Então
bad
se a Cade fosse a T1 eles ganhavam? Entendi, foca MT, obrigado.
for pain. They have 3 losing lanes in almost every game, losing jungle matchup, losing thematically in terms of the team fight, and we're mis-executing. That's the truth. We're mis-executing, and you can see this. So now, game 4. They end up first picking Italy, and we have 2 options here. So, Lilia has 3 counters. Lilia has Vi,
Cara, como capengou
in
essa
which
série, mano? Meu
you
Deus,
can
Tego.
try to explode
Já
the
cai
game
na
before
hipnose,
the
né,
get
viado?
finished.
Falei que tinha.
Como capengou isso, viado?
You can pick Viego, which duels the Lilia with a Seeel. So Viego finds Lilia and tries to 1v1 and stops Lilia from impacting the map and Azir free scales. Right? Or you can opt to play things like Maokai, which are going to be banned inside the game. There's one other option that we could have picked here, which was to pick Corki in Italy. So on stage, we were discussing what to pick. Right?
Vai sobrar pra
On stage,
alguém.
we were
Vai
saying
sobrar pra alguém.
we should pick Corki because we don't want to give them Corki Lilia, which is too comfort for pain. And they will have mid push. And we can play Nidalee, Corki, Lilia. We can play Nidalee, Corki, and Jin, which is outrange comp into Lilia, which is good into Lilia, with mid push
aí
and
beleza.
counter pick. Right, counter pick support.
O Leco pediu Azir.
The problem is, and here really
Voilà.
is the problem. We just had a game where Azir 1v9 the game. So Viego is a Lilia counter, historically, right? So we just had a game where Azir 1v9 the game. And Dakyo said, give me Azir. So in a best of 5,
Já sei onde isso vai
the
parar,
meta
vovô.
changes,
Você entendeu?
right?
Você
Vai
entendeu?
ser aquela
changes
comp
and the
toda-
champion
Você
strength
entendeu?
changes.
Toda
So Azir
arremendada.
Viego this game
Me dá
was
isso
really
aqui porque eu
completely
quero, aí o
fine.
outro também quer porque eu
If
vou
in the
fazer
game,
isso, e
nossa,
no final
olha
ficou,
essa-
ficou a salada
you
de
guys would say,
fruta.
oh my god, this Viego pick so clutch, fucking amazing. But because you guys are stupid and you don't understand League of Legends,
Ele falou que a gente é estúpido, ó.
Fine.
Falou que a gente é estúpido,
Caralho.
tá?
If
Serve
in
pra
the
gente
game-
isso, tem que pra mim pra
Caralho,
você.
é.
my bot lane didn't
Dá
go
play
zero
de novo, dá
you guys
play de
would say,
novo.
oh my god, this Viego completely fine. If in the game,
Pera, volta,
my
volta,
bot
volta,
lane didn't
volta,
go
volta.
right?
Aí,
The
vambora,
meta changes
vambora.
and the
Meta
champion
muda,
strength
força dos
changes.
campeões muda.
So Azir Viego this game was really completely fine. If in the
De
game
boa.
my bot lane didn't go 0-6, you guys would say, oh my god, this Viego pick so clutch.
Tu
fucking
gosta,
amazing."
vovô, desse Viego com a Ziridini?
Não muito. Não
Eu,
muito.
eu, eu,
Eu acho que, tipo assim, é jogável. Mas eu não acho que é bom, não, mano.
eu não gosto muito,
Eu
não.
não acho que é bom, não.
Porra,
Sinceramente.
Viego ali, você vai tomar corte, tomou EZ, beleza, vai marcar ali no early game, mas e o resto?
O resto do jogo é meio paia mesmo.
É. O
Parece que ele-
Aziridinho vou ficar ali
Mano,
tentando
mano,
dar um
mas
out
pensa,
range,
mas
mas
também
também
pensa-
tem range do outro lado.
Mas também pensa no jogo, ele fica meio sem target, não, viado? Tipo, se o
Muito,
Ezei,
velho.
se o Ezei e o Quark jogar bem, ele fica meio sem target pra jogar.
E, tipo, é difícil ele resetar. É difícil resetar no Caçante,
então.
é difícil resetar no Alistar, tipo... E a range, pô, ele não ajuda, ele não é front, ele não ajuda no poke.
Concordo,
Pô, sei
concordo.
lá, posso ser estúpido.
Não, eu tô com você, Tex, tô com você, né?
Então somos estúpidos, mano.
Because you
Listen
guys
to
are
that.
stupid and you don't understand League of Legends, you say, oh my god, why pick Viego?
É. Eu aí,
Unfortunately, that's actually the
literalmente.
truth. I'm sorry. Am I wrong? Tell me I'm wrong. Bro, it's... No offense. Guys, it's Jin Nautilus. Jin Nautilus First of all, Azir Corki matchup is Corki gets pushed, but Azir scales for free. Jhin Nautilus always gets push, wave 1, 2, 3. It's Alistar. So my bot lane should get push in this matchup, and is a winning matchup bot. A 2v2. And my Viego is counter picking jungle with a free healing jungle and a counter pick top. So once again, thematically, we're in a really, really good position, and we have very good results on Viego too. So once again, let's go and have a look at Viego's stats, right?
Quis
Because people are
mandou
saying, oh my god,
R$1 e
Viego is such a
50
trash champion.
Vai
centavos.
ver agora, hein?
Vai ver os
Diz esse
stats da
Absolut
LPL.
Itacaxi não sabe de
mas
novinho.
bota
Por
depois no
favor,
Brasilzão.
vai ter. Paguem 6K e
Vai ver a
descubram como
realidade
se
nua e
play o
crua.
League. Não
Because-
vai ter o
Please, calma.
0800 Tisway.
You don't know the game. No offense. It's because you don't know the game. So one of the best counters to Lilia is actually Viego. Right? Weak against Lilia here, but you have to look at top
Ué,
regions.
peraí, vovô.
Because you don't know.
Agora ficou estranho. Agora
Porque
ficou
Viego-
estranho.
Because people are saying, oh my god,
caiu,
Viego
a
is such a
máscara
trash
caiu.
champion. It's because
Abriu o
you don't know the
Viego,
game.
desceu.
No offense.
É, sem
Ele
ofensas,
não tem
calma.
Lilia.
É,
Não tem
ele
Lilia.
vai,
It's 'cause you
ele
don't
vai
know the
filtrar. Calma.
So one of the best
É,
counters
14,
to Lilia
15.
is
15,
actually
Top
Viego.
Visions. Ué,
94% de win rate perdendo em CS aos 15. Tecas.
em 9 jogos. Em 9
Eita.
jogos. Não
Right?
sei.
Ué,
Weak against Lilia here, but you
Só
have to
top
look at
liga, tá? Só top liga.
top regions too, right?
Agora.
One of the best counters to Lilia inside the game
botou top
thematically
agora. Vamos ver top
has
dele.
Vamos ver
always
só
been
top liga.
Lilia. You can't see because I
Yeah.
need to log in, but
Ah,
let's have a look at like all.
Mas mesmo assim, viado, tipo assim, ele não pode levar a estatística de uma top liga em consideração no Brasilzão, mano.
Okay.
Olha lá.
ué,
Olha lá,
Ué.
viado.
é.
40%.
Ele sequeu.
Clica
So
isso aí,
maybe
vovô.
not
Explica
on the
isso aí,
stats.
vovô.
Olha, ele falou, talvez não nos stats, mas para nós isso é
But for us,
real.
Beleza, aí tudo bem, aí
Possible,
tudo
so
bem.
maybe-
Isso pra eles
maybe they're right.
é assim.
Maybe
É.
they're right. Okay. Maybe Viego is fucking
E aí,
trash.
agora ele recuou. Talvez
right?
agora
Maybe
ele
Viego is
recuou.
fucking
Calma
trash.
aí.
It's 10 games, right?
Ah, mano, ele
that
perde
was our read of the
credibilidade
situation.
fazendo isso, não tem.
É.
Pô, ele
Perdeu um
chamou nós de
pouquinho.
estúpido, viado.
Sim. Indiretamente eu e
isso é
você estavam
forte,
falando
mano.
aqui. Não, isso daí é ruim.
Mas
não sei
quem
o
ficou
quê.
de estúpido no final foi ele, viado. A verdade é
É.
essa.
That was our read of the situation. Okay. Calm down. Okay, calm down. That was our read of the situation. So our 3 plans were
Os
Malphite
caras no
to
chat
Lilia,
deles
Vine
zoando.
to Lilia, Viego into Lilia, or Nidalee
Ficou
to Lilia.
fudido, cara.
But just a reminder once again, guys, it's a best of 5. We just had a 7-0 Azir last game, right? So, my bot lane is meant to get push bot 2v2.
Isso é
My
verdade.
bot lane is meant to get push bot 2v2.
Esse de Nautilus dos caras também.
But my bot lane loses push 2v2, gets solo killed, gets solo
foi
killed again
disso,
holding the
foi
wave
disso.
1v2.
Ah, mano, a verdade é, resumindo, mano, o Quiz pegou pilha que ficaram zoando ele e ele tá tentando passar a culpa pros players, mano. A verdade
And
é
then-
essa, tá ligado? Isso que é a culpa é de todo mundo, mano.
My bot is 0
Tem parte
1
da culpa também, ele é do time, porra.
É isso aí. A parada que eu discordei
Okay.
dele desse vídeo aí
So,
que a gente também
I do
então
wanna
foi
say-
do jogo 1 e 4. O jogo 2 e 3 ali, eu acho que ele tem pontos muito fortes. Todas as outras partes que ele falou do jogo 1 também. Ah, não sei o que, é prioridade, Lily é bom no contra Seju. Realmente, é tudo verdade. Só que não era injogável no jogo 1 e nesse jogo 4 aí, perdão a ele aí, mas não acho que a gente é estúpido em achar que esse Viego aí era meio paia, não.
Mano,
Sei.
essa como ficou muito feio, mano. Esse
É,
dazão
pô.
com o
Okay,
Viego aí,
maybe
que
maybe the
porra é
Viego
essa?
pick was bad. Viego is not playing into ranged champions. We're playing Viego into Lilia, and we have so much setup for this Viego, right? We have Jhin, we have Nautilus that can lock a champion down. You can play for resets.
Mas
You
por que
also
ele
have
vai pegar
Nasus
reset
with
no
her.
Alistar e no Caçante assim, velho? Não acho que ele pega reset tão fácil assim, não,
Eu
mano.
também acho que não. Eu não acho que é um jogo fácil pra jogar de Viego. mano.
Literalmente, o que a gente faz ser grabado, ele liga o W, foda-se. Caso o Alistar tem ult, é difícil, mano. Só se o
Champions
curitasse muito.
Corki into champions like Lilia. And you also win side, right? So you're meant to push 2v2 bots, but we're 1-4 bots. Our top counter pick match.
Caralho, 8 min de jogo pro Delta tá 1/3, Tecas.
Well.
Uau.
Matchup is 0-1, but
Que
mid
esse
matchup
link aí,
is
Lu?
fine. Jungle matchup is 0-0-0. So if here's my question, right? If we didn't have a game where my bot lane starts off 1-5, right? 1-5, and the game is completely even, and my Ezreal is not 4-2, would we have reached the same conclusion? For me, this is just classic results-orientated breakdowns, you know? For me, it's just results-orientated gameplay. The truth is, we have free scaling mid, counter pick top, we win side against Pain, and we have good matchup bot. That's the
Mano, eu tô
truth,
começando a achar.
right?
Take.
Jin once again is
Okay.
just a
Foi
takeaway
sorte,
from
viado,
Pain,
dessa Pain, mano.
right? I explained this
Não
many
foi,
times, I'm not going to explain it
Ah,
again.
Pain era melhor.
tudo
Pain
a
is a
favor desse
team
vivo
that wants two
queijo,
sources of
meu Deus.
engage. So
A
it's
Pain
very
é boa.
important that
Pain é boa e
can delay
ponto.
things like
Pain é boa
Jin.
e ponto.
They're playing Ezreal because we took away Jin from them,
Ai, não é.
right? To give you context, Pain is 100% win rate over 9 games with
O
setup 80
Smiley
carries.
acordou mal, o Smiley Pro tava com
Right.
diarreia esse dia, mano.
So yeah, I'm very sick. To be honest, the series is very sad. If we ban Ashe, we have to give them Ashe. If we ban Ezreal, they get Ashe, and Ashe is much worse here. So it's a choice, you know. We thought that too in the first Pain series, right? I got very drunk after the series, yeah. I got very drunk. So it's like, okay, we have to ban Ashe, we have to ban Jin, we have to ban Ezreal too. I mean, it doesn't make sense. It's just the way that the team
Vocês
functions.
que
Right?
dele é inevitável, é isso, resumindo?
So if you actually look at the series was really close. Game 1-2 was really close. Game 1-2 was really, really close. In game 2, we were in a winning position. In game 1, we were in a winning position after throwing early. Right? So
Foi quase.
that's just how it is. But I would say it's been a great journey.
It was.
The players made a lot of progress. And I do think that the players grew a lot through this
Ô,
year.
vocês querem
Right.
fazer tier list do Worlds?
Eu quero.
Será?
Ué, dá pra fazer, não? Eu precisava de convidados
Podemos.
prêmios e vocês estão aí? Vocês são
Podemos
prêmios.
fazer.